Okay, we are bringing the lovely Aimee from the Fashion Breakdown in now. I have just upgraded you to a panelist. So Aimee is all about helping young people get or learn more about careers in fashion. She also has worked in fashion herself, so she's going to tell us all about Fashion Breakdown. Hello, hi, nice to see you. I feel like I haven't seen you for so
I made it in.
long. So, do you want to start off by introducing yourself? Who are you? What do you do? And what is the Fashion Breakdown?
Sure. So my name is Aimee. I am from the company The Fashion Breakdown. I am the founder and creator of the company. And The Fashion Breakdown is a careers advisory service for young people just like yourselves who want to work in the fashion industry. We share information on different careers paths and options for you. We can offer internships and work experience. You can get real actual life experience of working within the industry to see if you do like it, but also to see if you don't, and we can help support on both of those. And we can connect you with industry experts as well. So it's a lot that we do. We deliver in educational settings like schools that you guys are in now, but we also deliver it offline as well, in person.
I love that. And actually, at the
Yeah.
end of the last interview, one of the last bits of advice from Lillian was build your network. And you are one of those people that can help everyone watching build the network. Okay, so tell us about your own career history and your, I guess, kind of relationship with fashion.
Yeah, sure. So I wouldn't say I'm creative per se, which is probably the wrong thing to say, but you'll find
Oh,
with
not at
me
all.
that I am the wild card. I can't draw, I can't even do a stick man. I'm not to industry standards slim enough for the fashion world or tall enough. I'm only 5'1". But what I can do is I have a very creative brain and I can help other creatives project that. And within the fashion industry, it's all about creating something that people have their eyes on and want to wear. So I work in the background of the fashion industry in the sense of a runway producer. Ever since I was little, like I said, I knew I couldn't draw. I wasn't going to walk the catwalk, but I always wanted to be the bossy one at the back of the stage and go, and now you go, and now you go. And that's where I've got myself. I haven't done the traditional route into working in the industry. I never went to college. I never went to university. I literally decided what I wanted and I put myself in places that were either involved in fashion so that I could gain some knowledge. Retail, working in retail, everyone thinks is not the way, but it's the best thing you can do to start building your knowledge and connections and education within brands, learning different cuts of clothing, the different seasons, even how it works within getting garments into store and customer service. Learning how to deal with people, especially within the fashion industry, is going to be key to getting along with the industry. And so I put myself in fashion environments, I would say, and then I approached a local college about working in events. Like I said, I knew I wanted to be in events, but I wasn't a very good student. I was a little bit not keen on sitting in the classroom for too long. And so I decided that I would get a job within the events environment, not necessarily fashion. It was a 5-star hotel. And I'd work my way and get an events experience so that I could then work my way into the fashion industry. And that's exactly what I did. I was very strategic and purposeful in where I placed myself. I volunteered and interned a lot for free. I'm going to be honest with you, the fashion industry doesn't like to pay for interns and for you to gain your work experience. So I had to put in a few years of doing stuff for free. And then I started to land the big jobs. I built that reputation. I got that trust and landed several high profile runway shows, which is great. But I love doing it, but I have children and I thought, how are they going to get into the industry? Because it's not easy unless you spend, even when you spend thousands of pounds in years going to university, it's not a guaranteed job because of that lack of experience. The fashion industry is very much, it's what you know to a certain extent because that brings confidence, but it's more who you know rather than what you know to a certain extent, if I'm completely honest with everybody. And so I kind of went down a different route and I thought, I want to be that person for people to say, I know that person, the who you know, the network, the gateway into being able to get into that industry. Hence why I set up the Fashion Breakdown. And now we offer and deliver workshops, but also internships for people to come and get that experience and be able to put that on their CV or portfolio. So yeah.
Amazing. Oh, I love that. What a great career history as well. I think you've gone out, made your own luck. You put yourself, like you said, in strategic positions to be able to build those networks. That is actually something that everyone can do.
Yeah.
So there is nothing holding you back, guys. Tell us about where we can find the Fashion Breakdown if there are people watching that want to, I guess, get in touch.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we're targeted at young people or young adults, social media is where we're at. We do have a website, but it's currently under construction at the minute, so you won't be able to find it online, or it'll be a really boring page. So the best place to hit us up is Instagram, if I'm honest. We're starting out in TikTok, but that's a whole new realm. I'm a little bit older, even though I still wear the big hoops. I am a little bit older, and so TikTok is a new realm for me, but it's a great realm for you guys that are used to using TikTok and Snapchat to connect. But also, I was hearing at the end of the previous talk about building up your knowledge. There are some fantastic TikTok and social media influencers on there that share about news and updates of the industry, but also tips and tricks of getting into the industry and building your brand. So TikTok is there, but I would say Instagram definitely. We are the Fashion Breakdown Official. Hop onto there, drop me a message, let me know you were on this call, and I'd be happy to support you guys.
Amazing. And when the website is live, I'm sure that we will have it on the Eric app as well, so you can always have a look for it there.
It will be thefashionbreakdown.com.
Yeah, so exactly, there we go.
All the
Easy,
same
just
name.
keep checking.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were a runway producer. I imagine that that is a job that lots of people have never heard of before, didn't know was there. Did you know that was a thing when you were, I guess, when you were that person that was like, I want to boss people around? Did you know that was the title of the job? And also, who else is kind of working on these live events? There must be so many other careers available in that world that people don't know are there.
Well, that's exactly how I started to think and got the idea for the business, was because I did know that there was such a thing as a runway producer. Because I grew up watching these really aspirational fashion shows of the big brands that were really desirable, that were kind of only for VVIPs, and you only got to watch it online, or you had to travel to the main 4 fashion cities to be able to watch it, and you were someone if you went to it. And I thought, I want to be there. Not necessarily, like I say, walking the runway or even attending to a certain extent. I mean, I get to attend now, which is nice. Yeah. But I wanted to be part of that environment. I loved the hustle. I loved being able to be around the garments and the creativity, but not the pressure of it being myself and kind of putting yourself out there. Being a designer is no simple task. But when I was working on the shows, I realised how much work goes into it and what a size of a team you have, even for the smaller emerging shows or independent designer shows. There's still a full army that goes on behind backstage. So I may be the producer, so the one that's kind of orchestrating it all, but there is a team that I work with in order to be able to deliver those runway shows. And that goes from even things you wouldn't think of, like tech for lighting rigs and sound. You have to have your backstage assistants, which is a really popular internship that we offer, is working backstage. You will learn the fast pace of fashion when you work backstage of a runway show. There is things like even the event side and the logistics side of even selling the tickets, the promotion, the social media. And it was because I had that role that I realised there's so many more. And that's just within the fashion show itself. So the industry itself, there are so many options and things that you wouldn't even think of. Even I have a friend who's the lawyer for Chanel. You wouldn't think that, I mean, that's sounds rather fancy, she's lovely, but you wouldn't think that that's a job of being a lawyer. Well, actually, you can be a lawyer for these big brands and still be within the industry without having to just do a model, designer, or writing for Vogue. There are so many options out there that you wouldn't think of that are extremely well paid, that come off of that industry and within that industry.
Absolutely. That is, again, one of the other big themes that we want people to take away from this week. It is not creative and non-creative, and it's not just creatives that work in the creative world. Like there are so many people needed in order for these industries to be able to operate, and there are jobs for absolutely everyone available. And like you say, lots of them are very well paid. Okay. Fashion producer is obviously on a fashion show. What is also amazing about nowadays is that there are shows happening all over the UK as well. We have lots of young people watching from all over. We've had thousands of sign-ups from people everywhere. And so don't feel like you have to be in London as well in order to make this kind of role work. Tell us a bit about, I guess, the development of the fashion world and that kind of live events fashion world across the UK.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, when people think fashion shows, they think of the four major fashion cities, and that's where you have to go. You have to go to Paris, Milan, New York, or London. I'm not London based. I live quite close to London, but I'm not based in London. And to be honest, it's only when I do the fashion weeks to get the interns in to have the opportunities to get their work experience. That's the only time I really go into London and work. A lot of major cities around the UK do it. Manchester has a really popping fashion scene going on. So even if you're close to major cities, but there's also smaller towns that do it. I'm literally doing one for my local town, that a 4-day fashion event that they want to do. I mean, I'm spearheading it, but I've actually got a little team of interns that are doing it, which is fantastic. But there is a lot of fashion opportunities that are around. Also, one of the positive things that came out of having a lockdown is that a lot of things pivoted to digital. So there are a lot of digital runways that happen now, and that is a whole different realm of team and skills that are used to be able to deliver that sort of runway. I don't deal with digital in that sense. I can still organise it to a certain extent, but it's a whole different thing. But again, there are multiple opportunities that you can do straight from your home, sitting with your laptop or computer and being able to have a career and be in the fashion industry without feeling that you have to travel into London or you have to be in certain places to be able to get that work. I didn't. I was extremely lucky in a sense. I was actually working on a local fashion show. That was my first opportunity. And then it just so happened, and this happens a lot in the fashion industry, that there was someone that was working on something else. And they said, "Oh, Amy, would you like to come work on that?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely." Because you're going to have to be very brave to work in the fashion industry. Not brave as in the industry itself is scary, but brave in the sense of putting yourself forward and being confident to go, "Yeah, okay, I'll do that." Google was my best friend at the time. I Googled everything. I didn't, like I said, I didn't go to college. I didn't have a formal education with this. So I had to learn a lot on the job. Great for learning, but if I'd have actually studied the more traditional route, I probably would have saved myself a lot of time and stress. So if you can do the traditional route and it works for you, go through the education system, because that knowledge that you get will embed your confidence to be able to go out. I just said yes because I had a lot of bravado when I was younger and kind of just figured it out on my way. But actually, it will give you more confidence if you go through the more traditional educational route. And then it just led to more shows. And then I started doing international shows in Portugal, Ibiza, Dubai, which again, great. You get loads of free stuff working on fashion shows as well, especially if you're a fashion producer. Those VIP goodie bags, you always manage to secure one. You'll always get your hair and makeup done before the show because the team are there. There are some nice perks, yeah. But it's an extremely high pressure job at the same time, because if you don't orchestrate it right and you don't organize it right, you've got a lot of people that have put themselves forward to do the show and want their garment showcased, and expectations. You have sponsors, you have partners that go into these shows. There's a lot of money that goes into running a fashion show, even like the smaller sized ones. Even if you're doing it at a local university, there's still resources that are pulled in to do that. But also you have the audience that are watching. I remember we did Ibiza and that the heavens opened and it absolutely poured in Ibiza. I mean, what are the chances? And we had to pivot with bikini runway models and figure that out. Luckily, we had a towel sponsor brand give towels in the VIP bag. So everyone just was sitting there. It was ridiculous, but so funny at the same time. Great. All of these celebrities sitting there with towels on their head. Great marketing for the towel company, by the way. Just going to say that. But yeah, within the industry, you will always end up knowing someone. And I started very small, did a lot of free work. Like I say, it's not right, but unfortunately, that is where the industry is at. And there are people like me and other companies that are really trying to push that the internships are paid, or at least you get something out of it. Whether that's you can put something on your CV or portfolio, or you get your travel paid for and it's only your time then that you're giving up. We're really trying to change those standards of the industry. But the reality is right now that you will most probably have to do some sort of free work in order to gain that experience and be able to start making those connections.
Okay, well, some good and bad news there.
Yeah. It's worth it. It's worth it.
Okay, no, but we've learned so much about, I guess, kind of building up a portfolio in a way, starting local. There are totally local opportunities around you guys. You just have to maybe put your ear out, have a look at the local news, what's happening there, see if there's any kind of events that have been announced that you can maybe volunteer at, who knows?
Yeah.
Oh my God, amazing. Well, that is actually all we've got time for. I am going to ask you one really quick question though. What
Cool.
is the number one bit of advice for young people who are looking to get their foot in the door of the fashion industry? Make it quick.
Apart from getting involved with the fashion breakdown, start out with an online portfolio, set up a separate social media, think about how you want the industry to see you, and set up an online profile that is going to be able to showcase you in the way that you want to be hired.
That is a fantastic bit of advice. I'm so glad that we actually did make time for that. Thank you so much, Aimee, for joining us. It's been so fab having you here. Some great bits of advice there. Loads of action to take. Okay, guys. Well, Aimee, I'm going to downgrade you now to an attendee. I do apologise. Nothing personal. You've been amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.